Hey guys, this is Tavante. I just want to speak a little bit about how it can feel when you are like an on the fence Christian, especially melanated or as a black person. I just want to share my point of view on everything. And so, a little bit about me. I used to be a Christian about 2 years ago. I've always grown up. I've grown up in church. I've always been in the church. I was on the praise team. I was, ushering, the whole 9 yards. Usually, a lot of us have from down south. We grow up in the church or whatever. And it was cool. Things were going fine, but I just felt like something wasn't right. Like when I got older, like I'm 24 now. But when I got about 20 years old, I just started to ask questions in my head and just start to see things, and just things would be like, how are we, we worship Jesus or whatever. He's our provider, savior, whatever, healer. But the majority of us are, one, like poor, not really happy. You see how your grandma and everyone live. It's kind of like you always struggling to pay bills and stuff. But then we would be told that, if you pay tithes and things like that, if you give money to the pastor and things like that, then you would grow, your seeds will grow, and then you would be wealthy, all this stuff. And I was, in my teenage years, I would follow it, and I would try to do the best I can, give as much as I can, but something inside of me just wasn't feeling right. So, like, at that time, I was in school at college, USC Columbia. I still was a believer, and once I graduated from college, I went to Madrid, Spain. I took a gap year there, and there, I don't know, I was just led to go there. One, I had studied abroad in Madrid, Spain, my sophomore year in college. I've always loved traveling. I love languages. That's something about me. But anyway, I graduated, and then I went to Madrid, Spain for 9 months just to see how it is living life in a different country, kind of clear my mind out. And while I was there, I don't know, it seemed like there was just like some ancestral sweep or some sort, or I don't really know how it came about, but I was questioning Christianity inside, but I didn't really know how to explain it. So I was on YouTube, and I seen a video about, the real things about Christianity, and pretty much how, like, the history of Christianity, how it's been used to mentally enslave us and things like that. Well, as black people, as, African American people, and, worldwide. And so I learned that, Christianity was one of the main tools used to enslave us. And missionaries went into countries in Africa and said that, this is, a good doctrine, a good religion. And sources say that, Christianity was already created, some sort by, I guess, like philosophers in ancient Kemet. But, anyway, it was used, and in that instant, I kind of like woke up in a sense, I just started, and then once I learned about Christianity, I just wanted to question everything. I just wanted to know more and more and more. And now I'm back in the States, and once I've come out of that doctrine or, witchcraft, however it may be, I just see so many things. I just see so many things the way that they are. And I'm just here to tell you, if you're one of those people who are like on the fence about Christianity, or if you're just not sure, or maybe you're just very, for a fact that Jesus is your Lord and Savior, I just kind of want you to definitely do more research, and do that, and also be open-minded, because did you know like the first slave ship's name was Jesus? And also my thing is, how, being in the United States, or just in general, how we were enslaved. But how does it feel? The common sense thing for me is that you're worshiping the same God as your oppressors. That doesn't make sense. The same people that strip you of your last name, like, we were doctors, lawyers, everything. They took us there. They lynched us, beat us, anything you could imagine, raped our, women, things like that. But we still continue to worship the same God as them. It just doesn't make sense. And this is why we see why we haven't moved. Like, we are still, well, we have moved in the past like year or so, because it's just the ancestral sweep. But just when you are in that Christianity, in that you don't really move. Like, you see people going to church every Sunday for 25, 30, 40, 50 years. That just doesn't make sense. And I was seeing it. I was like, why are these same people still going to the altar call, still needing? And I just learned that we have to start looking into ourselves for the answers. We can't look into this outside, white Jesus for the answers to everything. It just doesn't make sense. And the reason why Christianity is here is because, this is a way to harvest our energy. So how we have, God and the devil, right? So we have this devil, and then, what is the devil? The devil isn't anything. It's like, we're just taught that the devil's under our feet. But what that does is we divert our energy into this make-believe devil instead of diverting it to our oppressors. These aliens here, well, I don't want to get into that yet, but basically our oppressors, these Caucasoids who are here, genocided, all these countries in Africa, genocided the Native Americans, took us here, making all these systems, wanting to basically rule the world. But they know, something that we don't know is that all this energy that we have, if we don't put it into our enemies, then their karmic debt won't be released. By karmic debt, I mean that, you reap what you sow, right? So what goes around come around. But we've been taught to forgive everybody. You forgive your oppressor, forgive your slave masters, whatever like that. But once you forgive them, that takes all of their karmic debt. That takes the responsibility off of them. And that's what Christianity does. It just teaches you to kind of lay down, turn the other cheek, forgive. But no, we have, there's a new age of Africans. That shit don't work anymore. You're gonna get what's, and I'm talking to the our oppressors, the government, and also some of you may not resonate with this statement, but the aliens that are here, because you have been infiltrated with different, factions like reptilians, things like that, different species. That karmic debt is coming to y'all, because one thing is you don't enslave and genocide a group of people and think that these people are just dead. No. And that's one thing about Christianity I don't like, that we're taught that, our DNA, everything about it is just in Jesus, right? The majority of us don't really even give a fuck about our ancestors like that. We just think that I'm me and I'm going to heaven. No, that's not how this works. The spirit inside of you is from the people who died before you. The blood that you have is the same blood that's in your ancestor. They're still living inside of you. And what's happening is that they've come back and they've given, us different assignments, and it's they we want our planet back. And this is more than just the United States. This is a planet, this is a global thing. White supremacy is a global thing, but that shit is coming to an end. They're dying off, and I just want to, proclaim that in the year of 2020, it's a year of karmic debt. What you do is what you get back. You know what I'm saying? There's no more forgiveness. There's no more, holding your tongue. No more of that. It's just you get what you get. So if you've been enslaving people, and this goes for anybody, if you've been jealous, or you've been hurting people, and you've been, that's going to come back on you, because in the past decades, it's been if you're Christian, someone can slap you in the face, someone can do something, or kill your brother, and then you forgive them, like Botham Jean's brother. And then you get off the hook. But no, that shit doesn't work anymore. No one, we're not afraid anymore. We're not afraid of death. We're not afraid of these things that have hindered us before. So I got a little off topic, but what I want to say is that if you are on the fence about Christianity, I just want you to know that it's used to keep our dark energy down. So what I mean by that is that, so in this universe that we live in, there's a certain frequency that is in the air. But a lot of the dark energy, a lot of the black frequency has been down because we've been captured by all these different things. You know, by these religions that capture our energy, these different, the music, oh my God, like the music, you know, captures our energy. The porn, that's another thing that harnesses energy. You know, all these things that I put in place to harness our energy. But now that we are coming from out of that, we are in control of our thoughts. We are in control of what we say, what we think, what we do. So that's a new frequency that's going up into the, you know, into the air. And like, if you are, how can I put this? So we've pretty much been duped. So you, like, you know, you pray to Jesus and stuff like that. You've been praying to this entity that's been created for us, and then we've created in our mind, but it doesn't really do anything. Like, you are the solution to your problem. You know, like, if you want more money, then you have to do that. You have to look inside yourself and say, okay, what are my gifts? What are my talents? And how can I use that to create and to, you know, gain a flow of wealth? Because wealth comes from creation. Like, if you're not creating anything, then you can only get money from working. And that's just not, we come into the age where it just doesn't work like it could, you know, because, you know, back in the day, people could work and then have a living for their family. But nowadays, like, the jobs are just so all over the place, and the millennials are just not happy with it. So we come into this information age where we can create our reality. Another thing, so I'm just going to expound on, like, say if you use Jesus for relationships or whatever. Oh, you always run into these people who, you know, these dudes that ain't shit or whatever. Then you have to look inside yourself and say, what am I allowing? What am I attracting? I'm just going to say this, for a lot of women, especially black women, we've kind of, well, it's kind of been a thing to, you know, wear all the makeup, wear all the lashes, wear all the weave and stuff like that. But what you're doing is that you're turning off, because your hair is an antenna. Your hair is connectors. It's technology. And when you're putting these other people's hair on your head, you're turning off your sensors. Because if you have your natural hair, if you have your hair, you can sense when someone is, like, not for you or for you. Like, if you have locks or natural hair or whatever, if a man comes around and he doesn't like that, then you already know, boom, like, on to the next. I mean, even me, I started growing my hair out more, and I can just sense, you know, different energies. And that's what it's for. It's technology. You know. So that's one thing as far as, like, if you use Jesus for relationships, use it for money. Maybe you have, like, these boys in your life, you keep running back to it, but you have to fill them up within yourself. You can't look outside for your healing. You have to heal from within. You know, so that you can heal other people. We have the power to heal ourselves through different foods and different herbs and things like that. You know, before coming here through slavery, we had the power to heal ourselves. We have the power to call into things, and the power, you know, we have our own power. We're divine. Don't put that into some exterior deity that was created for you, because you're taking all that power from within. And I can tell you, once I've got from under that religion, I just see things more clearly. I see things for where they are. I retain all of my power, and I just do what I need to do to create the life that I want. So, and I know that this may be a tough conversation for those who are on the fence, or either Christian. Like, I'm not here to, like, persuade you to leave it. I'm just here to give you an alternative, or let you know some of the history, to where you can think about it. You don't have to, believe in heaven or hell and be afraid to die and all these things, like, oh, what happens if I leave it? He saved me, and we give Jesus and this religion way too much credit. If we graduate with our bachelor's, or if we get a car, we automatically say, "Oh, God did it." God, Well, let me ask you a question. If you don't pay your rent, where will you go? You're gonna be homeless. Like, if you don't work, where will you go? But we continue to say that, God, God did it, Jesus did it. We put him attached to everything. And I continuously we praise his deity for all type of breadcrumbs. But if we realize that our heaven is on earth, then we wouldn't be praising this deity for like all these crumbs. Even with us, a lot of us may work 9 to 5 jobs. Have you ever asked yourself, why do we work 9 to 5 jobs? Why do we have to go to the grocery store for food? Why do we buy food? But if you realize that in these tropical countries like Africa and South America, all these places where the majority of black people are, the food is grown naturally. So it's not like we have to spend money, this artificial money that's in this paradigm now. We don't have to spend money to buy this food when the food is grown. I mean, we had our own land, we grown our own food. But now the system has is that, you need money to buy food, and it's just a sense of control. And this stems to why we have 9 to 5 jobs, because they took the wealth. Because if you think about it, if you're in a blackout and electricity's out, do you want money? No, you're going to need food and water. That's where the wealth comes from. I mean, you can't live without food and water. And if you think about Europe and Switzerland and all these Caucasian countries, they're in areas where the food don't grow like that, the majority. So they took the resources from Africa and from these places, took the labor resource, and now they distribute it out to us. They distribute it out to everyone else, and that shit is just not going to fly anymore because we're onto it. So I know that I'm all over the place, but I just really want to spark something inside of you. Maybe you already know this. Maybe you're like, I don't know what he's talking about. But I want to plant this seed inside of you that you don't have to continue believing something just because everybody else did it, or because your mama did it, or because you're afraid. Leave that and come into yourself. Come into your own power, your own assignment, your own gifts. Many of you are healers. Many of you maybe already are prophets. But you're using your prophecy gift under a religion when you could just be using it to empower other people, to empower us as a people to gain our planet back from, these oppressors who want to create everything and who want to gentrify everything. Like, no, you can't do that shit anymore. And our ancestors have come back to be like, we're not dead. Like, our spirit's still alive. So I just wanted to speak a little bit about this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, share, whatever you want to do. But alright guys, you have a good night.